Today's shakedown is really easy to explain. This is the day in the life of a typical test day, thanks to SimRaceway and Palatov Motorsport, who've brought their D4 race car track car to Infineon Raceway. I'm going to take you through step by step of what happens during a typical test. I want to check my skill level to find out whether it's all rust or there's something still left. Stick around today because there'll be a lot of in-car camera, more than just this opening. What are the objectives of our show here today? Well, number one, we want to experience the Palatov D4. Number two, we want to experience the Palatov in the SimRaceway sim. And number three, for me, I've got a couple of personal objectives. I want to find out where my pace is relative to where we used to be and whether we still got it, or this is just a dream and I'm just going to stay in front of the camera and keep my helmet on the shelf. Talk to me about what were the key challenges to match that car to simulation?
Well, that one was a special one because honestly, I had not driven it either.
Okay.
So I had to make an educated guess, and I'm very curious as to how close we ended up because we know the specs. You know, we know the weight distribution, we know the weight, we know the type of diff, we know the type of engine, and when you plug all that in the accurate physics model, and it comes out with something. The big unknown is tires, because depending on the tires you put on, it's going to be in a different level. So then we plan that too, and we go, and with the short wheelbase, I know what it should feel like. I mean, you can, in a way, you can relate to what an aero atom would be, like a go-kart would be, like an F3 would be, all these things.
So literally, we've kind of interrupted or stepped into the middle of the real test process here.
Yes.
Because now you're going to evaluate the real car,
yeah,
match it up with this
comparison is
okay.
happening way too early
Okay.
to my liking.
Okay.
Because if today I find that the car doesn't feel like it does in the sim, we're still going to modify it and update it.
Okay, we just got done with our first test session, and it went, frankly, according to plan and what I expected. I wasn't looking for speed. I just wanted to make sure I was getting comfortable with the car, knew my way around the track, and was reading the car and letting the car give me feedback. I say all that because at the end of the day, where Nico Rondet went out and shook the car down and was doing 141s. We snuck in a 143 in our first session, so I'm not chasing time, but I'm kind of pleased with that. But let me take you through a little bit of what happens with a test day. Change glasses to get the old man bifocals going. But the first thing is, to prep for a test day, you really don't just show up at the track. I was studying the track map and studying notes. For example, I've got a top 10 list that really is important to focus on how to drive. We have track notes. And I'll be filling out things like this in a minute to really get a read. So all of these things start to matter. If we were doing setup, and we're not because there's no spring and shock changes here that they're going to be making, we would go through that analysis of the lap and start to discuss where's the car sitting, where's the car giving me an initial turn-in that's kind of nervous, but then settling into a higher speed push, but then balancing out. That will start to tell us things about shocks, tell us things about springs. Now, I'm not going to chase lap times, but what I'm going to chase is get more comfortable with the car and let it carry speed in certain places, clean up my line a little bit, and guess what? I'm old, but I ain't dead, so it feels good.
The goal with this car was to come up with something that is as small and light as possible, and yet still be able to put down a lot of power. Now, this particular car has a GSX-R 1000 engine, which is about 190 horsepower, and it weighs around 900 pounds or so. But we can actually support up to 400 horsepower in this chassis with optional all-wheel drive. Designed primarily as a track day car. So it's not a race car per se, although it is very quick. In the right hands it can approach Formula Atlantic times, but it's also very accessible for the average track day driver. You don't have to be a pro in order to enjoy it and have fun with it.
Okay, this is session 2. Besides me working on my line, what we did is change the toe on the front of the car to stabilize its nervousness under braking. That's going to really create a potential for a lot more speed up the hill on that first corner and then into that hairpin on the back end, plus into the Indy chicane. So that's what we're working for. Did that change make a difference? And can we get a little more out of this car? So here we go. Palatov may look like a race car that somebody already backed into a wall for you, but it's real race car tech, and as such, the D4 does race car things. We were touching 140 miles an hour. We were cornering at 2 to 3 Gs with its downforce tunnel underbody, and all that was like it was on the SimRaceway sim. The morning sim time quickened our understanding of what the Palatov would do. However, a few Palatov driving sensations were not yet baked into the sim. The real engine was not as torquey as the sim. We got no second gear wheel spin in the real car. The nervous brakes we were fighting in session 1 and trying to fix with the toe out change for session 2 were not a sim symptom. We made that front alignment change and it really cleaned up the braking. The car is much more stable. There's no nervousness. It gives you the confidence to brake harder initially. And as a downforce car, you want to load it up on brakes when you first go to brake, unlike a road car. So that cleaned up a couple of places. We got our lap time down another second, so I think we're at a 4.24. I'm feeling good about that. The brake change or the alignment change helped the braking into the corner and allowed it to trail brake a little more. So we're getting a little more of that rotation using the pedals, and that's making us quicker in a couple of other places. We have one more session, I believe, and now it's time to maybe make another change, and if not, clean up a couple of lines. I'm still too busy with my hands, and I'm a little too aggressive in the S's when I need to smooth it out and get that flow going.
Let's try some more.
Turn 1, you start to feel the G's, a little bit of compression up the hill. Oh my God, we nailed this. We're going to be on a good lap. This is a tricky part where the car is still a little nervous, but as we head down toward 3, line the car up, good brakes. It turned in pretty positive. Come over the blind crest, I lined it up right, and I'm on the gas. Car feels stable. No trail brake here, too nervous. Into it and out and on our way toward the carousel. Feel the power of this engine right here. Now can we crest? Can we go a little deeper than we did before? We did, and now it's down hard. Hard G's, find the apex, track out, full throttle. We're on our way. I'm feeling good. This lap's going to be good. The Palatov is performing. It's feeling like a real race car. Big brake zone, big brake zone. The toe out has made a difference. We can go deep, turn into that first apex, hit the second apex, and we're lining up for the S's, which are near flat as we come up through the gears, 3rd to 4th to 5th. Smooth through there, no short wheelbase feeling. Down toward this Indy hairpin. This is where we're getting a little tire lift and wheel spin on acceleration. And now toward the final hairpin. Nico and I noticed the sequential shifter was not always grabbing a gear, but no big deal for now. We were on a hot lap, maybe a 140 lap at least, until the 4th to 2nd gear hairpin. And, well, watch this. So session 3 is over. We didn't go quicker, but the changes to the car are making it more positive and more confident to drive fast. It got me quicker up the hill, heavier on the throttle toward 2 and 3, and I know we were carrying more speed there. There's a couple of things where I still am too rough on the hands, but that's what testing is all about, to learn what we need to learn to move forward. It's interesting. The change to the car made the real race car, this Palatov D4, perform better. What we learned in the real car has improved the SimRaceway sim experience too. And Palatov, on that test, they took out a torquiness that was in their simulation, and more replicated the engine in this real car. They changed the alignment and some of that weight distribution to take out the twitchiness of that. So, surprisingly, the lap times that we're turning online and turning on track are getting very, very close to identical. And that's what testing's all about. It's not about the fastest time, it's about learning things, applying it to the technology, real and sim, and moving the whole program ahead. Look, I really enjoyed my experience here. I want to thank SimRaceway. I want to thank Palatov Motorsport. Now it's on to Sebring. And now I got this racing bug in me again, and that's not good.